Welcome to your June 2024 astrology forecast for all 12 signs. All personal planets are now moving direct. They're moving forward. So now is going to be the time that you're going to want to get your plans up and running, launch your projects, make these big debuts that explore future endeavors of things that you want to manifest. This is a time that's perfect for all types of commitments or contracts or negotiations that you want to have between you and somebody else. This open period to launch and create is going to be here until July 16th, 2024. So now is the time. We also have two main zodiac signs that you need to keep an eye on for the month of June. They are Gemini and Cancer. Now we start the month off of June with Gemini energy that's really going to enhance everything that has to do with your thoughts, your ideas, writing, speaking, and communication. You sharing ideas or communicating with other people. This is your skill set that will be expanded upon. Now, then around mid-month, the planets are then going to begin to shift into the sign of Cancer. This is going to slow down your mind, and it's going to shift the focus away from the realm of talking and doing more into the realm of feeling. Cancer energy brings in topics that are about your home, your family, your housing and living situation related themes. Hi, I'm your astrologer, Patricia Tate, and this is your June 2024 monthly astrology forecast for all 12 signs. Now, before we dive in, I want to share with you about my new Transit Talk webinars that I'm going to be offering. They are these interactive educational opportunities on a different topic each month. So to learn more, visit willowgracemystic.com. Now, to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So let's dive in. So for Aries Sun and Aries Rising, the two main zodiac signs that I want you to draw your attention to are your third house with Gemini, and then the planets will then shift into your fourth house of your home and your family. So Gemini is enhancing all of your writing, your speaking, your communication, everything that has to do with projects, with people that you meet on a daily basis. The third house is you taking a class, taking a workshop, meeting people in your immediate neighborhood, siblings, neighbors, cousins. The third house is where we build these relationships with other people. And so that's going to bring a focus with new ways or enhanced technology in order for you to gather and share information with others. Then around mid-month, all of these planets, Jupiter's going to stay in Gemini, all of the planets of the Sun and Venus and Mercury will then slide into your fourth house of your home, the sign of Cancer. This is going to slow down your focus in the realm of talking and doing and communicating with other people. And now saying, I need to work on feeling. I need to look for opportunities for rest and retreat and a connection to family time. Cancer brings in the topics of home, family, and the connection to anybody that feels like family, or home-related topics of my home, my family, my ancestors. The fourth represents like real estate, property, traditions, your basic living situation. All right, so the first date I want to draw your attention to is June 4th. So on June 4th, we're going to have Mercury in Gemini. It's now going to be conjunct with Jupiter. So Mercury, thoughts, ideas, communication, now connected up with Jupiter. This is probably one of the most auspicious days of the year. Jupiter is wanting to expand everything, connecting to foreign people, places, and things. Jupiter sees the bigger picture, and Gemini is these amazing ideas and how they can multiply now. Be ready to write these things down. There's likely to be too many to implement all at once. This is about big news or great news coming to you, or awesome test results, or acceptance letters, or other positive reports that can come in from neighbors, siblings, cousins, or new acquaintances that you meet, or new opportunities for science and technology to improve the way you are communicating. So this could be using AI or using some form of updated technology in order for you to get the information out there on a more simplified basis. The next date that I want to bring up is June 6th. So on June 6th, we're going to have this beautiful new moon in the sign of Gemini. Remember that new moons, they're fresh starts, clean slates, a time of opportunity. And this one is all about thoughts, ideas of this is what I want to implement. This is what I want to do. You are literally planting the seeds that are very potent for intentions that involve all forms of communication, social events, learning, exploring, connecting with other people, taking classes, taking workshops, things that are beyond what you are that you can think about right now, because Jupiter has expanded. Jupiter in Gemini is offering these opportunities to say, I didn't think about streamlining this. So this could be through email, phone, text, gathering information through Reddit, YouTube. All of technological forms of information and gathering is going to be brought into you. And then you're going to have this new moon of, oh, this is how I can use it, or this is the connection that I want to use. This is the new moon that I want to start and plant the seeds for future growth so I can learn, explore, and communicate with others on a greater basis. Then the next date that I want to bring about is June 11th. Now on June 11th, we have what is potentially a really difficult transit between Mars and Pluto. It's in a square. I know you've heard me talk about squares before. Squares are 90-degree angles that the energy has to be integrated. It's two energies that do not get along well together. And so we have Mars, the god of war, in your second house of my resources, my cash, my property, my skill set, things that belong to me, in a square with Pluto. Pluto is the god of death. Pluto requires birth, death, and rebirth of a transformation in your 11th house of your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, your goals, and those people that you connect up with. So this could be people that you're in a committee with. This could be with people that you network with. This could be a community, but we know that there's going to be some opportunity to feel very uncomfortable, knowing that this is going to be leading up to this. So you could have this feeling that's of uncomfortableness, discomfort, at least a week before and after this event. So it really represents like dangerous responses that have to deal with your ego, power struggles, violence, you name it. Whenever these two planets come into a square with each other, it's I want my way, or I feel violated or not appreciated in this way. It can bring out the aggression from people who normally just don't come to the table for it, or who are not prone to anger or violence. So this could be like the honking at somebody, or the outburst at somebody, or being reckless. And so this is a perfect opportunity to make sure that, okay, when I'm in an opportunity to communicate with other people, I'm going to keep my ego and my attitude in check. I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to be making sure that I'm doing the inner work, remembering that squares are these opportunities to integrate change between myself and these people that I am communicating with. Next, I want to bring your attention to our full moon on June 21st. So I want you to notice that we just had Mercury, Venus, and the Sun move into your fourth house. So the fourth house for you, we talked about it. So like now is the time that we're going to be moving into. The focus is going to be on home and family, and like sinking into things, and family relationships, and wanting to create a stable foundation. And so that's going to be at the top of your mind. You've got Sun, Venus, and Mercury there. The full moon is in the sign of Capricorn. This is at the top of your chart. Your career, your job, your legacy, authority figures. Full moons, they always represent endings, closures, a time of moving on, or a time of experiencing or seeing an end to something. So this could be an end to a project that you've been working on, an end to an achievement of I'm working towards retirement. I want to leave this job, or I want to move from this to another, like that has to do with your job. The 10th house also represents your public reputation, your personal ambition, and your social status. So this could be you leaving or getting recognized for something that you're doing. The topics include everything that revolves around your material success, your achievements, these work-related projects, all of these topics that are going to reflect something that you are also working on at home, because the Sun, Venus, and Mercury saying this is my focus, but this is the 10th house is where I'm experiencing this ending or this culmination. So usually when we have a full moon in Capricorn, it's also an opportunity for us to say, I need to ask what I need to adjust from others to make things happen for me in order to have success. So you could be looking back at what you're doing and saying, I either need to seek out an authority figure to like look over things, or I need to look within, or I need to look at my, like what I'm doing for career, job, or the legacy that I want to leave behind, and say, what is working, what is not, make the adjustments in order to move on. So Aries, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer full moon and new moon astrology consultations. For private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com, and to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Taurus Sun and Taurus Rising, the two main signs that you're going to keep an eye out for this month are Gemini and Cancer. So Gemini represents your second house of your self-worth, your cash, your property, your skill set. The second house is what do I need in order to feel secure? All of these planets, except for Jupiter, are now going to be mid-month slipping into your third house of communication. That's with neighbors and siblings and cousins, and making friends and networking with people that are closer to home, like taking classes and taking workshops. Remember that Gemini enhances your writing, your speaking, your communication, and these projects, new ways of enhancing technology or gathering or sharing information. And how can I do that in order to move forward with my salary, my income, my financial situation? So top themes. And then mid-month, the focus will be more on friends and home and family and housing related topics of what can I do closer to my home. Okay, so then the first date that I want to bring your attention to is June 4th. When we get to June 4th, we're going to have a Mercury conjunct Jupiter in the sign of Gemini. Mercury rules over thoughts, ideas, communication, travel, taking classes, taking workshops, all forms of technology and all forms of communication. Jupiter is the great benefic. It's the Santa Claus of the Zodiac. It really brings about these great ideas, these opportunities to expand and explore unknown territory. So this is probably the most auspicious day of the year for you. Jupiter is here to expand your finances, your resources, your skill set, your salary, your income. Jupiter with Gemini is how can I use these amazing ideas? And so be sure to write them down. There's going to be a lot of opportunities to gain information. You could also be getting information about anything that's like you've been accepted to, or positive reports from a boss, or something that has to do with your career, your job, or authority figures. Now, it's in a trine to your Pluto at the top of your chart. So we know that there could have something to do with authority figures looking at what you're doing, or you being seen as an authority figure saying, this is where I'm going to invest my money, or this is what I want to do with my resources. The second house is like your work ethic and your spending and goals. The next date that I want to bring your attention to is on June 6th. When we get to June 6th, we're going to have this new moon at 16 degrees in the sign of Gemini. New moons, they're opportunities for a clean slate, a fresh start, a new beginning. They're opportunities to plant the seeds. And so you are gathering all these ideas, and you have been talking to other people, communicating, reading, diving into everything that has to do with your skill set. You could have been taking a class, taking a workshop, or learning about your income, your spending goals. This is not only about your finances, but this is about your mental, your emotional, your spiritual, what you need in order to feel secure. And so what are you gaining? What are you going to be planting the seeds for? That will involve all forms of communication that you can be learning and exploring, and it has to do with your personal resources. Then the next date I want to draw your attention to is June 11th. On June 11th, this is a very difficult day. We're going to have a square between Mars and your first house of self. So Mars is the god of war, and he goes after what he wants, how he wants, and so it's in your first house of self. So we know that this has everything to do with you and your appearance, your power, your self-expression, your identity. I always say that the first house represents not only who you are, but your website or your business cards. It's the vibes that you give everybody. Now, it's in a hard aspect or a square to Pluto. Pluto is the god of death. It's the birth, death, and rebirth. It requires this transformation in order to occur. And so a square, we've talked about this before, that a square is a hard aspect that requires integration of the energy in order to change. You cannot have one way or the other way. So we know that this can be an authority figure, or it can be something that is involving your work, or something that involves something to do with your public life or government officials, or it has to do with somebody of authority. This could be police, this could be government. It'll have something to do with authority over you, or you in an argument or uncomfortable aspect with a power struggle with yourself. And so the energy can be several days before and then end up several days afterwards. So know that around June 11th is a time to stop, pause, and breathe before you speak, because this is about energy welling inside of you that has to do with dangerous responses coming not only from you, but also from others. This has to do with your ego, power struggles that could involve violence, that could be verbal or physical. And so this is a tough angle, so anything can be possible. I'm encouraging you to, if you are not easy to anger, then know that this is still going to affect you, because it brings out aggression even in people who are usually not prone to anger or violence. This is like somebody getting underneath your skin and really pushing your buttons. And so I'm encouraging you to take a deep breath and do the inner work on this one. Work on your ego and say, I need to remember that squares are an opportunity to integrate the change, and I'm in control of me. So we know that it cannot be their way or your way. It has to be integrated in order to move forward with the growth that comes from it. And then on the last transit that I want to talk about, and I want to draw your attention to watching your second house, because as the days move forward from June 13th and on, we are now moving into the planets have moved into your third house of communication with siblings and neighbors and cousins, and making new friends. The third house has everything to do with building relationships with people and wanting them to last over a longer period of time. It could be taking classes and workshops, those topics. Now, you're also going to be having a full moon on June 21st, and it's going to be in the sign of Capricorn. So we know that the sun has a focus on all the topics that we've just discussed, but the full moon is revealing some endings or some closures, some projects that you have been working on. The moon in your ninth house represents foreign people, places, and things, these cross-cultural experiences that you've had. It's in the house of publishing or legal matters. So there could be some endings to taking a class, taking a workshop, traveling from farther away, or anything that has to do with topics that have to do with law or advertising or you connecting to others. We know that there's going to have some kind of a culmination, some kind of an ending that could be related to your material success, or that has to do with your achievements of either traveling there or creating something. And so these can revolve around work-related projects. Now, oftentimes what happens during this type of a full moon is that we ask ourselves, what do we need to adjust in order to make things happen for success? And this could be, do I need to market it here? Do I need to publish this here? Like it's looking at everything that you've done and then saying, okay, now what can I do better? And if this is taking a class or a workshop or traveling, taking a look at your past and saying, this is what I've done. How can I now do this better? So Taurus, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer full moon and new moon astrology consultations. For private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Gemini Sun and Gemini Rising, I absolutely love this month for you because it's going to be a lot about who you are. It's your identity, it's your outlook, it's your habits, it's your business card. It's how people see you. And so 2 main zodiac signs that we need to keep an eye on, all about you, your first house of self, and then the energy, the planets are going to start moving into your second house of your resources, your skill set, your money, your property. The second house represents your income, your talents. It's things that belong to you, your mental, physical, spiritual, emotional resources that you need in order to feel secure or stable for yourself. And it's, how do I support myself? How do I sustain myself? So we know that we're starting off the month with this Gemini energy, enhancing your writing, your speaking, your communication, these projects that you want to be working on, and the focusing on new ways of enhancing this technology and gathering and sharing this information and connecting with others. And then around mid-month, the theme is now going to shift into my personal resources. It'll slow it down and it'll be about, I need to connect with, what do I need in order to feel secure? Cancer always brings in topics of home, family, and housing related topics. And so this is your personal resources, your personal assets. So the very first date that I want to bring into your awareness is June 4th. So as we move forward to June 4th, we are going to have Mercury in Gemini conjunct Jupiter in Gemini. So Mercury, all about thoughts and ideas. I mean, it's your chart ruler. It's very important. And then we have Jupiter. Jupiter is known as the Great Benefic, and it is the Santa Claus of the Zodiac, offering abundance. It's like an explosion of. And so this is probably the most auspicious day of the year. Gemini in Jupiter is about expanding thoughts, ideas, so these amazing ideas, and multiplying them now. So be ready to write down the names of the people that you meet, the connections that you're making, the thoughts and ideas. There's likely to be way too many to implement all at once, but it's gathering it all and writing it all now. Great news can come to you. This can be test results. This can be acceptance letters. This can be positive reports of things that have to do with your website or your business or relationship. Everything that is positive, that could be information that is shared from one person to another, is coming to you. And then I want to bring your attention to June 6th. So on June 6th, we're going to have this new moon in the sign of Gemini, a new moon in your first house of self. So new moons are fresh fresh slates, places where we plant the seeds of these new beginnings, of starting something new. You now have all of these great ideas, and now this is a time for you to say, I'm going to put my intentions that involve all forms of communications, social events, exploring, learning, studying, travel. I want to make these things happen. And so you're planting the seeds in order for those things to happen, everything that has to do with you. So it could be with your business or your personal life, but it'll have everything that has to do with you. Then I want to draw your attention to the next date, and that's on June 11th. And actually, it'll include the days that come before, and it'll include the days that come after. This is a hard aspect that will be between Mars and Pluto. Now, Mars is known as the god of war, and Pluto is known as the god of death. So we have Mars, the god of war, that has to do with you, and it's in your 12th house of self-sabotage, worst fears, feeling uncomfortable, feeling like I am violated, feeling like my worst fears are and it's hidden enemies, and it's hospitals, afflictions, institutions. A square is a difficult aspect that needs to be incorporated or integrated in order to grow and transform from. And so Pluto in your 9th house of my cross-cultural experiences, my foreign people, places, and things, legal matters, publishing, taking a class, taking a workshop, diving into religion, diving into spirituality. These two areas of your life are going to be at odds. And so you're going to feel it before and after. And so this is about anger, exaggerated and uncomfortable responses that have to do with ego, yours and other people's ego. This is about power struggles. This can involve a form of violence. This could be like verbal, like being angry, you name it. This one is, it's a difficult transit. And so it can be tough for everyone. Even if you are not prone to aggression, this transit can bring out the desire to snap at someone or honk your horn or say something that you normally wouldn't say or do. And so to work through this is a perfect time to check your ego and to do the inner work. And remember that this square is an opportunity to integrate the change and to work with others that may make you feel uncomfortable. Then the next date that I want to draw your attention to, and I'm going to go back here and draw your attention to the Gemini and Cancer, because as I animate the chart, I want you to look at the planets in your first house are now going to start shifting into your second house, because we're coming up to June 21st. On June 21st, you're going to have this full moon. So now we are now bringing all the focus into everything that has to do with your skill set, your cash, what do I need in order to feel comfortable, secure? What do I need in order to sustain and support myself? And so the sun is here along with Venus and Mercury. And you're having a full moon. Full moons are endings and closures and culminations. It's in your 8th house of shared resources. So we know that something has the ability to end. This could be ending with resources with business partners, like we are going to be separating or we're paying off this debt. This could be with significant others, as in we're separating our assets or again, paying off debt. The 8th house is other people's monies or investments or resources that you are tied up with. This can be an ex with alimony and child support. The 8th house also is the house of deep psychological connections that we have, and this could be with family members. The 8th house is also retirement, inheritances. This could be losses, and this is where we make the personal sacrifice and we have this transformation and this healing of releasing. And so we know that we are going to be ending, releasing, or moving on from some of these topics that are related to material success, your achievements, work projects, or something that is tied up with your resources that are connected to other people. Now, at this time, you might want to ask yourself, what do I need to adjust in order to make success happen for me in this area of my life as I move forward? So, Gemini, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer new moon and full moon astrology consultations. For private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Cancer Sun and Cancer Rising, I absolutely love this for you because you are the two main houses that we are talking about for you are your 12th house of isolation and being withdrawn and doing the inner healing and the inner work. And then they're all going to move mid-month into your first house of self. So the two main zodiac signs, Gemini and Cancer. So Gemini enhances your writing, your speaking, your communication, projects. This could be gathering, sharing, connecting information with others, but you are doing it in seclusion. This could be through phone or through email or through Zoom, but this is you going within for rest, retreat. This can also be an opportunity that you are connecting to your dreams, your ancestors, your spirit guides. The 12th house is the house of rest and retreat, and bringing in the information or studying about any of these topics. They can be topics that have to do with palmistry, astrology, and anything that has to do with taking the deep journey within and doing the inner healing in order for you to connect to the divine. The 12th house is where we make the self-sacrifice, and it takes us away from everyday life. So you are going within to do the inner work so that when the planets move into the sign of Cancer, you can slow down. And Cancer is the house of feeling, and you're looking for opportunities of, I need to take more time out for rest and retreat and connecting to family. My topics that are around home, family, housing, being comfortable and connecting to others will be mid-month and moving forward. Okay, so the first date that I want to bring your attention to is June 4th. We have Mercury conjunct Jupiter in the sign of Gemini. Now, Mercury, your thoughts and your ideas and the way that you're communicating and all types of taking classes and workshops and technology. And Jupiter is expanding of my mind, expanding of my horizons. This could be the getting out of hospital. This could be having an understanding to this affliction. Remember that the 12th house has to do with institutions, and these institutions can be learning, or they can be places where we go, where we are either placed there or whether we go there as in rest and retreat. Like this could be a spiritual retreat where we are gaining information. These amazing ideas are like an aha moment. This is probably the most auspicious day of the year because Jupiter in Gemini is expanding it. Amazing ideas. I encourage you to write everything down. Write down the names of the people that you're connecting to. If you are doing dream work or past life regressions or anything that has to do with dream related, this would be keeping a dream journal. Great news can come to you. This could be positive reports coming from other people, and this could be from the earthly realm and from the spiritual realm. Remember that the 12th house has to do with doing the inner work through meditation and connecting to other places that are out there. All right, so the next date that I want to draw your attention to is June 6th. So on June 6th, we're going to have this new moon in the sign of Gemini. I love this for you because first, a few days ago, you just had these great ideas, these aha moments. It's like opening up. It's kind of like your third eye is opening up and you're able to receive information or downloads. And so it's expanding. So a new moon is a fresh start, clean slate, new beginning, a time to plant the seeds of what do I do with this information. It's really potent for intentions that involve all forms of communication, social events, learning, exploring, and technology for you. Like, how can I take more classes? Maybe you're teaching something that has to do with the Akashic records or meditation or yoga, something that's done quietly or in a retreat setting, doing shamanic work. All of these are topics that are perfect for this new moon intentions. It's what can I start and share the communication and connect with others who are like-minded. Next, I want to draw your attention to June 11th. So on June 11th, we're going to have a hard aspect. It's actually going to start several days before and it'll continue several days after. So we have Mars, the god of war, in your 11th house of you with groups and networks that you belong to. The 11th house is, these are my wishes, my dreams, my aspirations, and these are the people that I connect up with, teams, groups, peers, or like star family. It's committees, group connections, and where you want to volunteer in society or where you are in society with like people that you work with. In a hard aspect, a square to Pluto. Pluto is the god of death. It's birth, death, and rebirth in your 8th house of deep psychological transformation. So we know that there's some kind of connection that has to do with power struggles, with ego, with people that you share resources with, or where your resources are tied up with others. This could be with alimony, child support, with exes. This can be with business partners. This can be with clients. This can be with your life partner. The 8th, and it can be with family members if there's like a connection that's deep and psychological. The 8th house is where we desire to have these deep connections, but it's also about taboo topics. And so we know that we can expect anger and blow-ups, exaggerated or dangerous responses of snapping and saying things to people or acting inappropriately that we normally wouldn't do. And so this can be, again, power struggles or conflict. So even if you're not prone to anger, this type of a transit brings this out in order for you to work through, like not honking at someone or not just like lipping off at somebody. It's a time for you to do the inner work and say, I need to work on my ego, and I need to remember that squares are opportunities to integrate this area of my life in order for me to experience the change between these two areas of my life. I'm only in charge of me and what I say, and I'm also responsible for how I react when somebody else speaks or acts. Then the next date that I want to draw your attention to, and I want to also have you pay attention to all of the planets that are in your 12th house, because as I move forward, you're going to see all of them moving from June 12th on into your first house of self. So now as the month flows on, we are now focused on you. The first house is your happiness, your vitality, your strength. It's like you in the mirror. It's how other people see you. I say it's your business card and your website, because it's how people see you and what you want to do. The first house is all about self. This is what I want to do. This is what I bring to the table. You're having this full moon. While the sun has you focus on everything to do with you, the full moon has to do with closures, culminations, or completions that have to do with 7th house topics. That can be significant others, business partners, clients, one-on-one relationships. The 7th house is where we find love, but it's also contractual agreements or negotiations. So there could be an ending or a culmination that has to do with an agreement. Because Capricorn is related to material success or your achievements or work-related projects, this could have something to do with clients or business partners that you are working on something, and there could be some kind of an ending or a shift into something new. At this time, I would ask myself, what do I need to adjust in order to make things happen for better success as I move forward? So Cancer, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer new moon and full moon astrology consultations. For private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com, and to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Leo Sun and Leo Rising, the two main zodiac signs you need to keep an eye on this month are Gemini, which happens to be your 11th house of your connections to others, what you want to, like who you want to connect up with in order to achieve success for your career or what you want to do. It's your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, your goals. And also, all of these planets are going to shift into your 12th house. The 12th house represents where we do the work privately, where we go to sit for rest and retreat and focus to do the work inwardly. All of these planets in the sign of Gemini, we are starting off with the Sun and Venus and Jupiter, really enhancing your writing, your speaking, your communication with projects that maybe you are leading or that you are part of. These projects can include work-related projects with groups or teams or peers. This could also be like your star family, or the 11th house is like people that you share the same beliefs with, or like social circles or kindred spirits or communities or networks that you are a part of, and bringing a focus on how can I enhance technology to gather, share, and connect information between myself and other people. How can I take it all in? And how can I share it with others? And then around mid-month, the planets begin to shift into Cancer, so that it's about slowing down and looking for opportunities to stop, pause, and breathe for rest, retreat, and a connection to creating a Zen den, or a place where you can connect a family, or bringing in topics of I need mental, physical, spiritual, emotional rest and retreat and recovery. So the first date that I want to bring your attention to is on June 4th. So on June 4th, we're going to have Mercury in Gemini, and it is conjunct Jupiter in Gemini. So on June 4th, Jupiter in Gemini conjunct Mercury in Gemini. This is probably the most auspicious day of the year. Jupiter is expansive. It is the Santa Claus of the Zodiac. It's the great benefic. It brings abundance of. And so it's going to have your mind spinning. It's about amazing ideas, connection to people, places, things. This is meeting the right people at the right time and connecting all the dots. This could be through work, through socialization, through volunteering. The 11th house has to do with you connected with other people that can be kindred spirits, or through committees or other group affiliations. Make sure that you are writing down everybody's names, because you want to be able to stay in touch with them later. And this is about gathering the right ideas. There's going to be so many things happen all at once. It's about bringing great news, these aha moments, these acceptance information of, yes, you're in that group, yes, you're in that club, or yes, this is doing really good. It's about positive reports that are sharing for work or for pleasure or within your social network system. Then as we move forward, I want to talk about June 6th. On June 6th, now we're going to take all of this information, and you are going to have this beautiful new moon in the same house of how can I plant seeds, new beginnings, fresh starts, clean slates in the sign of Gemini. It's really potent for intentions that involve all types of communication. How can I use science and technology? How can I streamline or speed up the way that I'm communicating? How can I take it all in, and what do I do with all of this information? This is you traveling, meeting people during social events, learning, exploring. All of these topics are perfect for this new moon in your 11th house. And it's a beautiful time to fill up your social calendar. Then the next date that I want to draw your attention to is June 11th. Now, you're actually going to feel this probably several days before and several days after, but this is a difficult transit. Mars is in your 10th house of career, and we can call Mars the god of war, and it's going to be in a square with Pluto, the god of death. And this is in your 7th house of partnership, clients, one-on-one relationships, contracts, negotiations. So now we have squares need to be integrated. The energy is uncomfortable, and this is a difficult one because it's dangerous responses, and our ego is involved. This is conflict, and this is being reckless and uncomfortable. Now, Mars in your 10th house can be authority figures, bosses. This could be police. This could be anything that would be like above you. This could be like government officials. And then the 7th house has to do with you with clients, or you with negotiations, you with best friends, significant others, business partners, and significant others. And so now we have them facing off at an angle that is difficult, that brings out aggression. And even if you're not one to, that you're prone to violence or anger, this is an opportunity to say, I need to keep my ego in check. I need to do the inner work. I need to not come to the table for that fight or that argument. And I need to take a deep breath and work with the energy. It's an opportunity to integrate what's going on here in order for change to come from it. And so I'm encouraging you to take a deep breath, pause and breathe through these days of this transit. Then the next date that I want to bring to your attention is June 21st. And as I move the calendar forward, I want you to be watching all the planets now leave Gemini, and they're now moving into your 12th house. So as we move up to June 21st, we now have all of these planets, the Sun and Venus and Mercury, in your 12th house, really bringing a focus on, I need rest, I need recovery, I need to go within, I need a retreat, I need to do the inner work. I'm ready to connect to the divine. I'm ready for taking a deep breath and pausing. This is the time. Cancer is where I have to leave where I am with other people and to do the inner work, because I feel everybody's feels all the time, like I'm taking it all in. Now the sun is illuminating that area of your life of, I know what I need, mental, physical, spiritual, health, and well-being. And what's the closure, the ending, the culmination is the full moon in the 6th house. So there's probably going to be some type of an ending or closure that has to do with maybe you're leaving, you're ending your connection with a mentor or a guide. You no longer need the services of the counselor or the mentor. Maybe you no longer need that service of, remember that the 6th house is self-care and alternative health. And so you no longer need to go see that practitioner for that service. The 6th house is also where I am of service to other people. And so maybe you need to end that practice of where you are of service to somebody else because they no longer need it, or you need to put a healthy boundary between it. Capricorn energy always revolves around our achievements, work-related projects, and possible material success. And so we're looking at this ending as an opportunity to start something new. I need to start something new for my daily habits of taking care of myself first before I take care of others. And so at this time, you can ask yourself, what do I need to adjust in my life in order to have future success in this area of my life? So Leo, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer new moon and full moon astrology consultations. For private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Virgo Sun and Virgo Rising, the two signs that you need to keep an eye on are going to be your 10th house of career and your networking house. I absolutely love this for you. So keep an eye on your Gemini house, because the Gemini house is your career, your job, your legacy, who you connect up with, and it is authority figures. It's really going to be enhancing your writing, your speaking, your communication, all these projects, and the forms of technology and gathering and sharing of information and connecting with other people that are of like minds. This is you getting your word out there and being recognized for it. Now, around mid-month, the planets are then going to shift into the sign of Cancer. I love this because this is going to be like a little bit of a slowdown, and it's less talking and more connecting. The connections are going to be with people, places, and things in order to help you move forward with your career and your goals. The 11th house is my networks, my groups, my teams, my affiliations, my connections of community, of people that either where I want to spend my time or where I want to move forward with things that'll improve my career, my job, my legacy. And so it'll be more of an opportunity to look for a connection that feels like family, that feels like home, that feels like topics of, I can make this happen, I can support this. All right, so the very first date that I want to bring your attention to is June 4th. So on June 4th, you are going to be having a Mercury in Gemini conjunct Jupiter in Gemini. This is probably the most auspicious day of the year for you, because Mercury has your mind spinning. It's about connecting with people, places, and things. And Jupiter is expansive. It is getting your ideas out there and sharing them with the right people, places, and things. This is probably where you're going to have all of these great ideas, these connections to people, authority figures, being seen. The 10th house is you with your career, your life path, your public life, you being seen as an authority figure. What do you want to achieve? Your ethics. The 10th house represents honors, awards, and things that have to do with your personal reputation. And so there's these ideas of, how can I do this? Who can I connect up with? These people that you are meeting, and I'm encouraging you to write down their names so you can keep a list of who they are and write down the ideas of these ideas that people are sharing with you, or that these aha moments that you're having. There's likely to be all of things at one time, with great news of being accepted for something, or positive reports for something, or being acknowledged for something else, but it's being seen. And the great benefic at the top of your chart is an amazing thing for you. All right, so the next date that I want to bring your attention to is on June 6th. So just 2 days later, on June 6th, you're going to have a new moon. New moons are fresh slates, new beginnings, an opportunity to plant the seeds for what you want to do for the future. And so this is a potential amazing opportunity for you to say, I have these intentions that involve all forms of communication, and I want to be at these social events, or I'm invited to these social events, or learning, or exploring, or studying, or it's you with your mind and how do I connect with the right people, being seen to connect, maybe being offered an opportunity to teach something, learn something. New moons are planting the seeds for future growth. And so all of those people, places, and things that you met, and the science and the technology that you are exposed to, because Jupiter in Gemini is, how do I take the technology and streamline it to make my life easier? Like, instead of keeping all your information on Post-it notes, how do I use technology to make it easier, to streamline all of the information in one place, either for your business, or for your phone, or for your general life. All right, so then the next date that I want to bring your attention to is on June 11th. Now, the dates leading up to June 11th and June 11th you're definitely going to be feeling this. This is a hard transit. It is a square. You're going to have Mars, who is the god of war, in your ninth house of publishing, traveling, legal matters, cross-cultural experiences with other people, in a hard aspect to Pluto. Pluto is the god of death. It's birth, death, and rebirth. It's transformation. That's in your sixth house of your daily habits. So there's going to be this huge conflict between where I want to go, what I want to do, people that I'm meeting, in a conflict with my daily habits, my mental, physical, spiritual health, and well-being. The sixth house is the house of self-care and alternative care, and it's where we take care of first ourselves and then take care of others. And so there will be this conflict between, and it could be through mentors or guides or where we volunteer or the people that we help. And it's nasty. This aspect occurs, and it's about exaggerated blow-ups, dangerous responses that involve ego and power struggle. This has an opportunity to bring out the negative in even the person who does not bring their anger to the table, someone who's not prone to anger, like to snap and say something that they would later regret, or to honk your horn. The square between this is a perfect opportunity to say, I need to work on myself. I need to do the inner work. I need to keep my ego in check. And I remember that squares are opportunities to integrate this for a change. What growth can come from this conflict that I'm experiencing in this area of my life? And then I want to bring your attention to one more date on June 21st. So as I'm moving the calendar along, I want you to notice as the planets all start to shift into your 11th house. So we now know that the focus is on Cancer-related themes, slowing down, being in the moment, and the people that I'm connecting to, wanting to have a familial connection to, where I spend my time, things that I want to do, need to have more of a comfortable feeling about them. We have the sun having a focus on, these are my dreams, my goals. These are the people that feel like family, like your star family, or people that you would connect up with that just feel like family, even though they're not blood family. And the 11th house also represents where you connect to other people. So the sun is focusing in on this, but the full moon is illuminating fifth house topics. So fifth house topics include children, and it includes where we take a risk, projects, art, creativity. The fifth house represents these creative self-expressions or creative outlets. And so this could be a project is coming to a conclusion or a closure. Full moons, they're about ending these topics that have to do with material success or your achievement or work-related projects. And so this could be something major for your children, or this could be something big for you, where I'm ending this in order for me to start something new to come from it. And so at this point, you might stop and say, I appreciate this ending. I see this. And okay, and the fifth house also represents like love affairs. And so there could be like love affairs exiting from your life. And it could also have to do with where we've taken risks or gambling. And so it's ending something that has to do with that. And all endings are not meant to be bad. It's an opportunity to move on. It's a closure. So we could be finishing a project or a goal. And so as you're doing this, you're going to want to take time to reflect and say, now, in order to move forward with more growth, what do I need to adjust in order to make the success happen in this area of my life? So Virgo, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer new moon and full moon astrology consultations. To get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Libra Sun and Libra Rising, the two main zodiac signs you need to keep an eye on are going to be your ninth house of taking classes and workshops and who you're networking with out there, who you're meeting, foreign people, places, things, travel, legal matters, This is also the house of publishing. And then all of this energy is going to move into your house of career, your job, your legacy, your reputation, and authority figures. So Gemini enhances our writing, speaking, communication, all of these projects. You connecting with other people, places, and things that are far and wide, either by traveling there or taking like online classes or workshops. This is also about projects, new ways to enhance or gather or share or connect with others for information. And then later on mid-month, it'll move into the sign of Cancer, and this will really start to slow some things down for you. And you're going to be looking for opportunities for rest and retreat and making things more stable, solid, and reliable in order to move forward with them. So the very first date that I want to bring your attention to is June 4th. On June 4th, we are going to have Mercury in Gemini conjunct Jupiter. Now, Mercury loves being in Gemini. Mercury is thoughts and ideas and communication. It's like gathering everything. It's I cannot take enough classes and workshops. Like, I am a social butterfly. I want to mix and mingle, and having 2 or 3 books at one time, taking classes, workshops, publishing things. And Jupiter is the great benefic. It's expanding your life and saying, you're taking a class and then you find out about another author and then you meet this person who connects you to somebody else. I love this energy for you because it's really, I think June 4th is probably the most auspicious day of the year. It's about amazing ideas coming to you, being ready to write them down and writing down the names of the people that you're connecting with, because it's all at one time. There's likely to be too many things going on at once, but this is great news. This is taking a class or workshop and then getting these perfect results or amazing results that come from it, or positive news or positive reports about test results, or like legal matters, everything that it just comes up roses. Wherever Jupiter is, it takes whatever could be difficult and makes it better. So it's not, if it was going to be bad, it's not that bad. And if it's going to be good, it's going to be great. And so it's all coming up roses at this time. Now, the next date that I want to bring your attention to is on June 6th. On June 6th, we now have this beautiful new moon. So you're going to take all these ideas, these people, these connections, classes, workshops, and now you're going to say, I have these great ideas. I need to plant these seeds. New moons, fresh starts, these new beginnings. It's in the sign of Gemini. It's potent for involving all forms of communication, social events. I want to go there. I want to be here. I want to do this. Learning, exploring, traveling. Like, it's going to be right up your alley. And it's like it's in trine to your first house of self. And so I'm absolutely loving this for you, Libra. On June 11th, and you're going to feel it several days before and up to several days afterwards, you're going to have Mars, who's considered to be the god of war, in your 8th house of your shared resources, your investments, or your money that's tied up with other people, in a very difficult square with the planet of Pluto, who's known as the god of death. So Pluto is birth, death, and rebirth, and it's about transformation. And so a square needs to be integrated. There has to be some kind of an adjustment. This square is angry. Pluto in your 5th house has to do with these are my creative projects. This is where I've started something. This is the house of children. So this could have to do with your children. This could have to do with love affairs. The 8th house mixed with the 5th house brings in all types of topics revolving around psychological. This could be with wounding. The 5th house represents where I search out risk and excitement, and things could have gone bad. Or it's the house of creative self-expression. And the 8th house representing my connection with others. And this could be business partners with investments or debt, or significant others, like my life partner, or it could be an ex with alimony and child support, and it could also involve family members, or somebody that you are deeply bonded with on a deep basis. And so before and after this anger this transit brings about aggression, even out of people who are usually not prone to anger and violence. And it's about blowing up, nasty responses, the conflict between ego and power struggles, and there could be violence of this is mine, no, this is mine. And so remember, in order to move through this, because it'll be happening to everybody, this transit is about you working on your ego, doing the inner work, and remembering that squares are opportunities to integrate what lesson can I take away from this transit. Then I want to talk about one more date with you, and that's June 21st. And as I move the calendar forward, I want you to notice that all the planets are now going to be moving into your career sector, your job, legacy, authority figures. And so the full moon, we have the sun focusing on everything that has to do with your career, you being seen as an authority figure, but also your ambitions and your social status and the mark that you want to make on society. And then we have something ending that has to do with your home, your family, your traditions. This could be somebody leaving home. This could be selling a home. A full moon in the fourth house could result in finding out about like ancestors or like that DNA or something about your past or something that about grandparents or parents. The fourth house represents your living situation and your family relationship, not just with parents, but with people who feel like family. So we know that there's going to be some kind of an ending or a closure, and it doesn't have to be negative or bad. This one is usually attached to your achievements, work-related projects, and possibly material success of how can I move forward with this, like this culmination of, yay, we're finally finished with this, or yay, we're done with this, and now I can move forward with it. And so after this full moon, or like during this time, it'll be a time of reflection of, I need to ask myself, what do I need to adjust so that I can make things happen for success in the future? And so if this is selling a house or purchasing a house or something that has to do with family or housing, it's looking at this and saying, I want to do better for the next time. And remember, the fourth house is also like your real estate and your property. So you could be selling off something, or you could be, remember that we need to bring in the topics of your career and your home, and like an ending of something in order for something to now transform and begin. So Libra, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer new moon and full moon astrology consultations. For private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com, and to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Scorpio Sun and Scorpio Rising, the two main zodiac signs for you to keep an eye on are your 8th house of Gemini and your 9th house of Cancer. So the sign of Gemini, we're starting off with Jupiter, Venus, and the Sun in your 8th house of your shared resources. You connecting your resources with somebody else that could be an ex, or it could be a business partner or significant other. And it can also be family members if it's the house of deep bonding and connection. And so Gemini enhances your writing, your speaking, your communication with all projects that you are sharing with others or are invested with others. And so you're going to be focusing on new ways or enhanced technology in order for you to gather, share, or connect information that you have with these resources with other people. And this could be updating computer programs, or like sharing them and wanting to understand and dig deeper into it, to understand it on a better level and to streamline it. Now, around mid-month, the planets are then going to shift into the sign of Cancer, and things will slow down, and it'll have you into the realm of feeling. I want to travel here. I want to take this class. I want to take this workshop. I need more rest. I need more connection to people that feel like family. Cancer brings in topics of home and housing related topics. So the very first date that I want to bring your attention to is June 4th. So on June 4th, we have a conjunction of Mercury and Jupiter in the sign of Gemini in your 8th house. Remember, the 8th house, your investments that you have with other people. And so this could be wills, taxes, inheritances, debts, obligations. It's where you want to have these connections with other people. And it could be taboo topics. This is also the house of sex. And the 8th house is the house of where I have these like my connections of where's my money at, my savings, my retirement, my personal sacrifices in order to transform and heal. Now, Jupiter is the planet of abundance. It's the Santa Claus of the Zodiac. And Mercury, thoughts, ideas, and communication. So now we're taking all of the positive things that can come from this house and saying, I think it's probably the most auspicious day of the year because Gemini is having your mind buzzing with thoughts and ideas, and Jupiter is expanding this. So now it's amazing ideas of, I never thought to invest here. I never thought that I could do this here. Oh, I'm receiving this money, or I have won the lottery. This is getting the ideas, making these connections, and needing to write everything down. There's a lot of things that are going to come at you at one time, and it's about great news. Yay, I'm finished with this contract, or yay, this is the will has been, or the inheritances have been taken care of, or I'm taking care of the paperwork for that, or the taxes are paid off, or I'm getting a bigger refund than what I thought. All of this is coming in, and it's about bringing positive news to you at this time. And then 2 days later, we have a new moon on June 6th. So on June 6th, we're now going to start something new. New moons are fresh starts, clean slates, new beginnings, an opportunity to plant the seeds. Now you're going to say, I have this abundance, I have this money coming in, or I have this resource coming in, or these investments, things that I've done. Now, what do I do with this? I need to explore all forms of communication, learning, exploring. What can I do with it? Do I invest it here? Who do I talk to? Who do I share this with? It's, I want to take a class. I want to take a workshop. I want to travel here. I want to do this. All forms of communication, learning, exploring, and then what do I do? How do I work with this income or these resources that I have with other people? Maybe somebody has like a home in another country or a home in another state, and you're able to stay there rent-free or for less expensive. It's you saying, what resources do I have available to me that I have a connection with other people, and how can I tap into that, and creating these new moon intentions. So then the next date that I want to bring your attention to is June 11th. Now on June 11th, you're going to feel this most likely before and definitely after several days. We're going to have Mars in a hard aspect. Mars is the god of war, and it's in your 7th house of business partners, significant others, clients, one-on-one relationships, contracts, negotiations, best friends, open enemies, and exes. And I'm adding in the open enemies and exes because this is a hard aspect. It's a square. It's a square to Pluto. And Pluto is considered to be the god of death. Birth, death, and rebirth, requiring some form of transformation. And it's currently retrograde. So we have Pluto in your 4th house of your home, your family, your roots, your traditions, your grandparents. It's your genealogy. It's where you are living, your living situation. It's your relationship to the people that are in your domicile. And so we now have this square. This is arguing. This is conflict. You're going to feel it before, you're going to feel it afterwards. It's about exaggerated or dangerous responses to comments. Also contracts. Remember, the 7th house can represent love and contractual agreements or negotiations. And so this can involve ego, power struggles, violence, all of these things. It's these two planets facing off. And so even if you are not prone to anger or violence, the energy of this is offering you this opportunity to say, to make a flippant comment without thinking first, or to honk your horn. It's to be part of something that you don't want to take the bait and be part of. Squares are always this opportunity to integrate growth and change, because I have to work on my ego to do the inner work. So I'm encouraging you to take a deep breath and breathe through this transit. Then as we move forward, I want to draw your attention to the planets that are in the sign of Gemini and how they are now going to be moving into the sign of Cancer. So I'm moving to the 21st. On the 21st, we're going to have a full moon. So now we have the Sun, Venus, and Mercury all in the sign of Cancer, with the focus on, I want to travel there, take that class, take that workshop, publish this, legal matters. And the full moon is occurring in your third house of communication. Now, during this time, full moons always represent a culmination or an ending. It doesn't always have to be bad. It just means that something is ending in order for something to now transform and move on to something new. This will have something to do with your material success, your achievement, or work-related projects that have to do with communication, short-distance travel, technology, siblings, neighbors, cousins. It'll have to do with things that you are doing close to home. So this could be projects or classes that you are taking, or it'll have to do with in relation to your siblings or neighbors, or this could be news or gossip, transportation, conversations. The third house is where we make new friends and keep these relationships. So there could be some type of somebody's moving away, and like the relationship is now going to be ending the way it was on the basis that it was. So Scorpio, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer new moon and full moon astrology consultations. For private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Sagittarius Sun and Sagittarius Rising, I love this for you because we are starting off the month with the two main zodiac signs of Gemini, your seventh house of partnerships, relationships, clients, one-on-one relationships, negotiations, contracts, all of these in the sign of Gemini, enhancing your writing, your speaking, your communication, your negotiation skills, you bringing into focus different ways of using technology to stay in connection with or in contact with other people, and gathering and sharing and connecting information with these people. And then around mid-month, these planets are going to shift into your eighth house of shared resources. The sign of Cancer is related to home, family, housing related topics, and the eighth house is your resources that are connected or tied up with other people. So we know that you're going to slow down and focus on shared resources around mid-month. So I want to bring your attention to the very first date is June 4th. On June 4th, we're going to have Mercury in Gemini conjunct with Jupiter. I love this because this is probably the most auspicious day of the year. Gemini is all types of communication, and Mercury is totally at home here, like being a social butterfly, going to activities, connecting to people, email, phone, text, Reddit, YouTube, all forms of like technology and streamlining it, and Jupiter is expanding it. So think about it as amazing ideas that are now multiplying. So you have to write down the names and you have to write down these ideas, because you're not going to be able to implement everything right now. It's writing down the notes so you don't forget who these connections are for future reference. So at this time, it's getting really great news of the contract going through, or the client wanting to come back, or the relationship, the partner, or significant other, or best friend. It could be through them. And then I want to move forward with the next date of June 6th. So on June 6th, just 2 days later, you are going to have a new moon. Remember that new moons are fresh slates, clean slates, new beginnings, a time to plant these seeds and it's in your 7th house of partnerships. And so you've gathered all of these ideas and you've networked with people. And so now it's a time for you to say, I need to put my intentions down, that how am I going to stay connected through social events, through learning, through exploring? Do I take a class? Do I take a workshop? How do I add them to my social calendar? How do I add them to my contacts? How do I streamline through science and technology and make my social life easier for me? And this also has to do with contracts. And the 7th house has to do with contractual things that we write down, as in promises and negotiations. And so definitely going back and saying, I need to reach out to this person for this service, or I need to streamline and make things easier for people to be able to find me. Then I want to move you forward to June 11th. Now on June 11th, and you're going to feel this definitely before and definitely after. It'll be several days before as it's leading up to it, and then several days after. This is a hard aspect between Mars, the god of war. Mars is anger and aggression when in a square with Pluto, the god of death. Pluto in your 3rd house is who you communicate with on a daily basis. This is your neighbors, your siblings, your cousins, and all forms of technology, like not being able to get the assistance that you need for it, wanting to be able to communicate with people, but then this is who you talk with, who you share ideas with, like in the grocery line or just out daily, neighbors. And Mars in your 6th house of your daily habits. It can also mean who you are of service to. The 6th house also represents my mentors, my guides, and alternative healthcare practitioners. And so Mars here and Pluto, they're in this square. And so the energy has to be adjusted and integrated. And what do we do with it? This represents blow-ups, exaggerated comments, dangerous responses, like getting huffy, getting upset with somebody and like honking your horn or saying something that you would later regret, or somebody saying that to you and not having ego in check. This is about a power struggle or feeling like I have been violated in some way or something has been taken away from me. So you name it, these 2 planets going at it are facing off, and so anything can be possible at this time. Now, during this transit, I'm going to encourage you to definitely take a deep breath, breathe, pause through this, work on your ego, doing the inner work, because you don't want to be that person who gets angry and honks the horn, because it could blow up and be something else later. You don't want to be the person who says the snarky comment because of other things that can happen later. You're only in charge of yourself, and what can you do about that? This square is an opportunity for you to integrate in order to change, grow, and evolve this area of your life of your self-care and the way that you communicate with people on a daily basis. Next, I want to draw your attention to the planets as they leave your 7th house, and they're going to be moving into your 8th house up to the June 21st. So on June 21st, we now have a focus of the Sun, Venus, and Mercury all in the sign of Cancer, really honing in on where do you have your money invested, what do you have tied up with others, business partners, clients. The 8th house is about inheritances, wills, taxes, debt, obligation. And so that's where your Sun is focused. Now, where you're going to have an ending has something to do with your 2nd house of your self-worth, your cash, your property, your skill set. The 2nd house has to do with money, finances, resources, and it has to do with your talents and your opinions. It's what do you need in order to feel secure. So there's going to be something that's going to be ending. This could have something to do with Capricorn energy is related to material success, achievements, and work-related projects. So there could be a project that's ending that you're no longer going to be receiving money for, or an investment that's going to be made. It'll definitely have something to do with skill set, your salary, like an ending of something that you're doing. And it's an opportunity to move on to something that's new. I encourage you to stop and take a look at this and look at what do I need to adjust to make things happen for my further success. Because remember, this is about you, and your success depends on where you have your money invested, or your connections with other people and the investments that you have made there, or your money and resources that is tied up with other people. That could be inheritances, debt, taxes, wills, anything that's with a business partner, significant other, or it can be exes. All right, so Sagittarius, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer new moon and full moon astrology consultations. For private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Capricorn Sun and Capricorn Rising, the two zodiac signs that you need to keep an eye on are your 6th house of your daily habits, your mental, physical, spiritual health, well-being, and who you connect with on a daily basis in order to be of service to others or to care for yourself. And then you're going to move into your 7th house of partnerships and relationships. So Gemini energy is about enhancing your writing, your speaking, your communication with projects. This could bring you into contact with people that you take Reiki from or walk your dog. The 6th house has to do with your daily habits and who you connect up with for like spiritual advisors or for health and well-being, chiropractor or mental, physical, health and well-being for rehabilitation, or like a counselor or a mentor. And so Gemini, my writing, my speaking, projects, ways of how can I enhance them by gathering information and connecting. The 6th house is your balance between your home and work. And so how can I take care of myself and balance my home and my work life in order to do better and work smarter and make sure that I'm taking care of myself. Now, mid-month, the energy is going to slow down because all the planets are now going to move into the partnership sector, your 1+1 house. So your thoughts and ideas are going to be moving towards more of family time, more of connecting with significant others or clients or one-on-one relationships of I want to slow down and I want it to feel good about what I'm doing. The 7th house is love and relationships. So the very first date that I want to bring your attention to is June 4th. So on June 4th, we are going to have Mercury conjunct Jupiter in your 6th house. Now, Mercury is very happy in the sign of Gemini. So it has your mind buzzing. I want to go here. I want to do this. I want to try this. I want to explore this. The 6th house is your daily habits, and it has to do with caretaking of others, but it's I want to explore this. I want to explore this. And with the sign of Jupiter, Jupiter is the great benefic. It expands everything. This is probably the most auspicious day of the year where amazing ideas of things that you can do for your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health, meeting of other people who are of like minds, or connecting one person to another, or finding out about like a sound bowl therapy, or going to this drumming festival. I'm using examples from my own life because I don't know exactly what it is for you, but when I explore opportunities of what do I need in order to feel good about myself, it's my connection to a tribe. And so for you, this is you connecting to your tribe in order to feel good, in order to fill your cup. And so you're going to have all these opportunities and this great news coming to you. And the great news can be in the form of health related. This could be like getting good test results about something, or reports on something that has to do with your work or where you are of service to other people. How can I help you? Getting really great information from somebody. So the next date that I want to draw your attention to is on June 6th. So on June 6th, you're going to have this new moon. A new moon in your 6th house is an opportunity to bring attention to yourself and say, I have to put into place a balance between my home and my work. I have to streamline some things. A new moon in the 6th house means a new opportunity for you to plant seeds for better health and well-being for you. I need to look into vitamins. I need to look into supplements. I need to look into other care practitioners who can help take care of me, and then therefore I can be of better service to other people. The 6th house is, how can I streamline and make my life easier and better for myself? In the sign of Gemini means using science and technology, taking a class, taking a workshop. This could be anything from Reiki to shaman to tuning forks to sound therapy to meditation to yoga. This is, how can I make sure that on a daily basis I am taking care of my mind, my body, my spirit, and planting the seeds that can involve, that I can get out and involve myself in society and go to social events, learn, explore, and connect with other people that are like-minded. Then as I move forward to June 11th, now this is probably going to be affecting you the days before and the days after because it's leading up to it. It's not just a one-day transit. We have Mars, who is the god of war, in your 5th house of children, childlike activities, creative projects, the house where we want to take risks, the house of affairs. It's the house of self-expression, so it has everything to do with you, and this could be something that has to do with your children, in a very hard aspect, a square to Pluto. Pluto is the god of death, birth, death, rebirth, transformation in your 2nd house of your self-worth, your cash, your property, your resources. It's what do you need in order to feel secure? And so there's this really hard angle that is about power struggles. It's about money and ego and conflict, your resources and your responses to them. Now, this is not just going to be about you, but this is also about other people that you are connected with. Maybe them not valuing something. This is exaggerated or dangerous responses, like honking of your horn and saying something or getting angry. This is not only from you, but this could be from other people who are going to direct the anger towards you. It's about aggression. And even if you're not prone to aggression, you can be the recipient of the anger or the violence. And so I'm encouraging you to definitely work on your ego, because we know this has to do with your self-worth, your opinion, your skill set, your money, your resources, and you feeling like it's not appreciated or it's taken for granted. And do the inner work, and remember that squares are opportunities to integrate in order to change. And so there could be some hard boundaries needing to be present during this time, during this transit. So then as we move forward, the next date that I want to bring your attention to is June 21st. And as I move the calendar forward, I want you to notice all of the planets now start to shift into your 7th house of partnership. So we now know that topics regarding love and negotiation and compromise and cooperation and business partners, significant others, best friends, that's where the sun is at. Like, that's where your head is at, and you are focused on those topics. But now we have this full moon, something that's going to be ending that has to do with you, an ending, a closure, a culmination. And so this could be something that has to do with your identity, and this could be ending of how, let's say that you were single and you get married. It's an ending of how I'm going to be called one name to another. This could be an ending of a transition of something that has to do with you, an ending of how you look, an ending with, let's say that it was your business page or your website, or there could be a shift or an end of that project. Capricorn energy is about material success, achievement, work-related projects. So we know that something about you is ending. And this could have to do with your outlook or you being seen or how other people see you. And we know that there is a new beginning that can come from it. Not all endings are bad. They're culminations, they're closures. This could be an ending of a project that it's now finished. And now you can say, I'm ready to start on something else. And so during this or right after this transit, you can stop and take a look back and say, where do I need to make adjustments that I can work on things that I can have better success for the next project or activity that I want to start that has to do with you and your identity, yourself, your power, your self-expression, your interests, your image, everything about what you want to project or what you want to share with the world. So Capricorn, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer new moon and full moon astrology consultations. For a private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Aquarius Sun and Aquarius Rising, the two main zodiac signs that you need to keep an eye on this month are your Gemini house, which is your fifth house of self-expression and art and music and creativity and children, childlike activities where we want to take risks. And Gemini energy is about enhancing your writing, your speaking, your creative, like with art or painting or playing of music. It's in projects that you want to bring into focus. And it's how can I use technology to gather, share, and connect information that I have with other people. So it's bringing you in connection with other people who are like-minded or who you want to share your gifts and talents with, or you want to explore things that you have in common with them. Now, around mid-month, the planets are then going to shift into the sign of Cancer, which is your daily habits. The sixth house is what do I do on a daily basis in order to take care of myself before I take care of others? Mental, physical, spiritual health, and well-being. And so around mid-month, it'll be a time of slowing down, of rest and retreat and connection with family or home or topics of I need to nurture and care for myself. How can I take all of these fun activities that I want to do and how can I make them a daily practice? I need to put more art in my life. I need to put more music in my life, more going out and exploring things and meeting people. My social calendar needs to be filled. How do I make this a daily habit? So the very first date that I want to bring your attention to is June 4th. So on June 4th, we are going to have Jupiter conjunct Mercury in your fifth house. Now, this is probably the most auspicious day of the year for connecting you with people, places, and things, and like really mind-blowing of aha moments. I'm encouraging you to write down people's names and their connections so that when you meet with them, that you can follow through with another meetup later. This is a connection that's like this chance encounter, and there will be a lot of things happening all at one time, and there might be too many to implement all at one time. And so it's about how can I write it all down now, like these aha moments of, oh, I never thought about writing this in my poetry, or oh, I never thought about creating this with this project or writing this book. It's aha moments. Get them all down, get your connections all written down, and that way you can explore these options later as the days unfold. Also expect great news about promotions or graduations or things that have to do with your children or projects or any fifth house related topics, because it's about your investments or gambling or like where you're willing to take a risk, not only on yourself, but things that you want to like give birth to. So then the next date that I want to bring your attention to is on June 6th. I want to bring your attention to the new moon that you are going to have in your fifth house. So you're going to take all that new information that you've just gathered, and now is the time where you're going to say, I'm ready to plant some seeds. I'm ready to start something fresh, a new beginning. I have this great idea. It's not going back to the old stuff. It's these are new ideas of how can I communicate? How can I want to be at these social events. I'm willing to take this risk. I want to start this project. I want to learn. I want to explore. I want to meet up with like-minded people. A new moon in Gemini is a time to say, I need to busy my mind and with creative projects and fun and pleasure and joy and like-minded people that I can do this with. And so plant those seeds during that June 6th date. Then as we move forward, I want to draw your attention to June 11th. Now on June 11th, and you're going to notice the date, it'll be the days that lead up to it, and it'll be the days that are after it, because it's not going to be a one-day transit. We're going to have Mars. Mars is the god of war, and this has something to do with your home, your family, your foundation, your property, your real estate. This could do with your living situation, your family relationships. Mars, the god of war, in a huge conflict with Pluto, the god of death, in your first house of self. This is a major conflict that has to do with your ego and power struggles. This has to do with family, or what I believe to be my home, my parents, my grandparents, my living situation, my foundation, and my familial relationships in a conflict with who I am. The first house represents how other people see you, and it's your self-expression. It's you in your power. And so this transit that's going to be leading up to it and afterwards will have you feeling like you're not taken seriously, that you're being taken advantage of, and that you're being blown off. So expect like blow-ups, being exaggerated or dangerous responses or comments from other people, and power struggles that could be no, this is mine, no, this is mine, and like fighting over these things in your life. And so there can be anything that has to do with you and what you own or what you believe to be your home, your foundation, your solid base in which you build your life upon. Remember that the fourth house is your personal life, and so it's home and family. And so in a conflict, this can bring out the aggression from people who normally are not prone to anger and violence. But this is a time where you might want to lay on the horn or say the comment to somebody. And so I'm encouraging you to check your ego and do the inner work and make sure that you know that squares are times to integrate they're an opportunity to integrate and change the energy. So this might mean putting into place some healthy boundaries with some family members, what you want to do in order to feel secure about what is yours and your ego. And if that means walking away, taking a time out, that's what this square is offering you the opportunity to do. It's to, how do I work with this energy that I need to integrate change within me? Now, as we move forward, I want to draw your attention to your sixth house, being the sign of Cancer. And as we move forward up to the 21st, because we're going to have a full moon, the planets are all now going to start to shift into the sign of Cancer. So now we have the Sun, Venus, Mercury, all focusing in on what you do on a daily basis, like all these great things that I want to do, bring fun and joy and pleasure into my life on a daily basis. And how does this make me feel? I need more of this. I need to take care of me. And then the moon is where we're going to have some endings or some closures. A full moon brings about an opportunity for a culmination or an ending of a project. So the full moon in the 12th house could mean an ending of isolation, an ending to a health problem, an ending to going to counseling, an ending to something that you are doing like within, like spiritual retreats or something that you have done within. The 12th house represents dreams, intuition, psychic ability. It's where we take the deep journeys and do the inner healing. And it's the 12th house is also the house of self-sacrifice. So there might be an ending of, I'm not going to sacrifice this for my life anymore. I need to have some healthy boundaries, and I need to transcend and move forward and take care of myself and bring joy and pleasure to it on a daily basis. All endings are not bad. A lot of times they're culminations of, we have finished a chapter and we are now ready to move on. So this could mean finishing a chapter also where I have had, I've experienced self-sabotage of, like being too hard on myself. And so afterwards, I'm going to encourage you to focus on where do you need to make adjustments so you can have better success moving forward with this ending. I look at all endings as an opportunity of something has come to a completion, and then now we have this opportunity for new beginnings. So again, not all endings are bad, and they're an opportunity for this fresh start, clean slate, new beginning. So Aquarius, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer new moon and full moon astrology consultations. For a private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Pisces Sun and Pisces Rising, the two zodiac signs you need to keep an eye on this month are your Gemini house, which is your 4th house of home and family and traditions, people that feel like family, your real estate, your property, because the energy of this has Jupiter, Mercury, and the Sun all focused on enhancing your writing, your speaking, your communication with projects around home and family, bringing a focus on ways that you can enhance or use technology, or gathering or sharing information, or connecting with others, and still being close even though you can be further away from each other. Now, around mid-month, all of these planets are then going to shift into your 5th house. The 5th house is the house of children and creative projects and art and music, and where we want to take a risk. The 5th house is the house of where we want to make an investment or recreation. And so in the sign of Cancer, it's feeling like home, feeling like family related topics of this is really what I want to do. And I want to slow down and focus on these things that bring me joy and pleasure. So the very first date that I want to bring your attention to is June 4th. On June 4th, we are going to have Mercury in Gemini conjunct Jupiter in Gemini in your 4th house of home. So Mercury is very comfortable here. Mercury, thoughts, ideas, communications, contracts, negotiations, using science and technology, streamlining things, making things easier for me to do. Like this could be working from home. Jupiter is the great benefic, and it expands everything that it touches. So this is probably the most auspicious day of the year. Jupiter in Gemini is here to expand all amazing ideas. They're multiplying now. Write them down. This could come from your ancestors, like grandparents, or understanding genealogy, or connecting to like understanding where you received, like got these traditions from, or expanding who you thought was your family, or your family literally expanding. And so there's all these great ideas. There's probably too many to implement all at one time. This is, what can I do with my home? What can I do with my foundation or my personal life? Remember that the 4th house also represents you and your personal life, of what you do on a daily basis. And so there's going to be so many things that you're going to need to write them down. And this is, it's like meeting somebody and saying, I need to write down their contact information, and I'm ready to fill up my calendar with these connections so that I can stay connected with these people. It's the 4th house represents you being at home and what you need in order to feel secure with your foundation, but it's also you connecting with other people in order to expand this. And so you could be receiving some great news. This could be test results. This could be results that have to do with information like, yay, I got the home, positive reports that have to do with home or real estate or property or an acceptance letter. Anything is possible during this time. I would write down the people's names, and I would definitely write down your thoughts and your ideas because it's starting something new from it. Now, the next date that I want to bring your attention to is 2 days later on June 6th. So on June 6th, you're going to have this new moon. This is where you're going to take this information and now run with it. Yes, I met this person. I want to, I have their contact information and I want to continue to connect up with them. Or yes, I met and this could be a contractor. This could be something that has to do with working from home, doing something within your home. New moons are times to plant seeds, and it's a time of where you put the intentions into communication and social events and learning and exploring. I want to explore things that are closer to home. I want to take this class, take this workshop. I didn't know that this person was into this. I want to stay connected to this person. It's things that I'm doing at home or close to home, and setting those intentions of how can I continue to do this and mainstream this with my thoughts, my ideas, and my communication. And this could be through the internet or through making things easier at your home, like making living in your home easier by these connections that you have. Then the next date that I want to bring your attention to is June 11th. So on June 11th, and it's really going to be the days that lead up to June 11th and the days that are after. This is a difficult transit. It's not just a one day, it's many days. It's going to be the days before and the days of and the days after. So you have Mars, which is the god of war, in your third house of communication. This is where things get a little bit tricky and hairy. So Mars, the god of war, and with neighbors, siblings, cousins, who you communicate with on a daily basis, science, technology, like think airwaves of like Reddit or YouTube, or how you communicate with people through technology, and types of travel, cars, planes, all those types. Now this is in a square with Pluto. Pluto is known as the god of death, birth, death, and rebirth, the planet that requires transformation of. So we have Pluto in your 12th house. The 12th house is the house of self-sabotage, but it's also the house of hidden enemies. And it's the house of isolation and intuition. And so now we have these two in an angry square that can be dangerous for ego, conflict, exaggerated or dangerous responses of like people that you feel who are not supporting you. Remember that the 12th house is hidden enemies, and the third house is who you are communicating with on a daily basis. And so you might not see this coming. This square is meant to be integrated. It's for you to work on your personal ego. Everybody's going to be feeling this opportunity to lash out, honk their horn, or say something to somebody out of anger. I'm encouraging you to make sure that you are doing the inner work, because this has to do with you and your self-worth. So I know you're going to be feeling it, and knowing that you need to do the inner work on yourself, and work on how can I integrate this change for my 12th house of transformation, of inner healing and transcendence, of how can I connect to my inner spirit, inner divine, inner higher power. Now, the next date that I want to draw your attention to is on June 21st. And as I move the calendar up, I want you to notice that all the planets are now going to be moving into the sign of Cancer. So now, as we're moving into the sign of Cancer, we now have the focus on creativity, children, giving birth to something, where I'm willing to take a risk. And so the sun is here. The sun is saying, like, this is an area of my life that I need to pay attention to. I need to be creative. I need to take these risks. It's love affairs. It's excitement. It's creative self-expression, and it's love that's given, and play and joy and pleasure. And so we have an ending, a culmination with a full moon in your 11th house of your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, your goals, who you network with, or your community. So this could be a work-related project coming to an end. This could be a project that has to do with teams or peers or your social groups or your organizations. The 11th house are committees or groups that you that you belong to. So this might have you leaving one of those committees, or an ending, or like a culmination of sorts where you choose to, or this could be something that has to do with your job or your career, and now you're put on another work program, or this could have you leaving this group and saying, like, somebody could be moving, or like a friend group, your spiritual group, like your star family, that maybe that is ending, or you are finding another to join, because it's an ending of topics that are related to your achievements, or possibly work-related projects or material success, in order for there to be a new beginning to start from this. So it could be your own projects, or it could be projects that you are working on in conjunction with other people. Now, after this full moon, there's this opportunity where you can step back and look and say, now what do I need to adjust to make things happen for success? Do I need to join these other groups? Do I need to have new goals? Remember that the 11th house represents the peers that you are connected with. And so this could be a realignment of who you need to connect up with for future success. So Pisces, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer full moon and new moon astrology consultations. For private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe.